Hi, my name is Javed, and this is the second video of our machine learning series. At the end of this series, you will be able to create a model. The prerequisite for this video is Basic Python, which is the first part of our ML series. So let's get started. We will be learning about some basic Python libraries which we use in machine learning. So today we learn about NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. What is NumPy? NumPy is a fundamental package for scientific computing in Python. It performs high dimension functions in matrix and in vector. It runs on C and Fortran, and that's why it's much faster to use. So to use NumPy, we can import NumPy as NP. To create an array, we use np.array command 1 2 3 4 and list the elements in these square brackets. So we can see that we have created an array np1 is equals to 1 2 3 4. We can also know the shape of an array using dot shape command. We can create a matrix using the same function np.array. We can say it is a matrix or an 2D array. So we have created a matrix 1 2 3 4 5 6. We can also see the shape of the matrix. The shape of the matrix is 2 cross 3. We can also know the data type of a matrix, that is integer. We can create a matrix of any data type, example integer, string, or any boolean, not boolean type, but any float data type, and etc. So we can see that the data type of this matrix is integer. Unlike list in Python, which you can combine multiple type of element in a same list, we cannot do in this NumPy array. And if you try to remove the first element 1 by a string, it will show an error. So we cannot assign a string type, integer type of array to a string. It will automatically show an error. We can also create an array using np.arrange command. We just have to give the starting point and the ending point and the interval point. Interval. So the starting point is 0 and the ending point is 10. So it will give us an array at an interval of 1, excluding the last point. We can also create an array using linspace command. So the array is created. We can see it is an array, but by seeing like this, it will show like it has created an matrix, but it is not a matrix. It is a, and let's see the shape. Matrix mat3 dot shape gives 20. So it implies that is a vector of 20 elements. Similarly, we can also create an random matrix by using np.rand.rand of size 5 cross 5, 5 rows and 5 columns. It automatically takes random numbers and create a matrix, but positive random numbers. If we want to create a matrix randomly using any number, it may be positive or negative, we can use the same command but with slight difference, adding n to that rand np.random.rand n 5 cross 5. As you can see, it has a positive number as well as negative number. So np.rand n and np.rand are the two different commands. It gives only positive numbers and it includes negative as well as positive numbers. Know the diagonal elements of this matrix, we can use the command np.dag. It gives the matrix diagonal element, example 0.760 minus 0.14777 and so on. We can also create a zero matrix like by using np.zero command, zeros. 3 by 3. We can also create a matrix having all the element 1. So another major function in NumPy, broadcasting. So it is a majorly used function in NumPy. So let's see what's the difference between these two code blocks. So first of all, I have created an array 1, 2, 3 and B 2, 2, 2. If you multiply A into B, we get the output 2, 4, 6. And I have created another array A 1, 2, 3 and put the value B is equals to 2. So if we multiply A into B, we get the output same as the first one, 2, 4, 6. This is called broadcasting. It means it have made an array B like 2, 2, 2. It multiplies 2 to all the elements of array A. Similarly, we created a matrix A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we multiplied 2 and it will multiply with all the elements of matrix A. You can see the output 2, 4, 6, 8. Some basic operations in NumPy. So we are creating an array 1 using np.array. It and star comma star it means A to the power B, means array 1 to the power 2. So it gives the square of array 1. Similarly, the numpy function we can use is numpy.power. np.power array 1 comma 2. It gives the similar output as the other. It also has an addition function. We can create and we can add matrix by simply using a plus b. But there is a function, multiplication function, a into b and a dot b. So the basic difference is that it multiplies element wise, like 3 into 3, 2 into 1, 2 into 0, 1 into 1. Like 3 into 3 is equals to 9, 2 into 1, 2, 0 into 2, 0, 1 into 1, 1. And a dot b gives the output which we have learned how to multiply a matrix A cross B by multiplying rows into columns. We can also do the sum, array 1 dot sum, a sum of elements of array 1. It gives all the sum of array 120 plus 40 plus 60. So we can also find the minimum of an array using .min function. So we have completed NumPy. Let's come on pandas. Pandas is a fast, powerful, flexible, and easy to use open source data analysis and multiple manipulation tool. So basically, Panda is used for creating data frames in machine learning and importing the files, like example CSV files. We will talk about it later. Creating a series in pandas. So first of all, importing the pandas. We import the pandas function as import pandas as PD. Creating a series. We can create a series using .series function, pd.series, and you can input the elements in these. You can see the output shows the index values and the data type. Creating a data frame. So I have creating a data frame, naming dates is equals to pd.data_range. I have given a date, okay, without dashes. It is a date format and I have given a period is equals to 6. It gives me the consecutive three dates, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So creating a data frame df of random elements of size 6 cross 4. Index is equals to dates and column is equals to abcd. Okay, from dates we are using the same dates which we have created, dates date data frame, and column list is equals to abcd and dates. Random 6 by 4, 6 cross 4. It is taking any random values and we have created data frame df. We can view the first 5 elements of this data frame using df.head, you can see that it will list the elements 1 to 5. You can see here df.head is equals to 1 2 3 4 5, and if you want to see the last 5 element of a data frame, we can see it by df.tail. It gives the last 5 element 2 3 4 5 6. If you want to see the element of a data frame, like if you want to see the element of index 0, means index 0 and element 1, it shows all the rows, it shows all the elements in the row. Okay, so 0, we can see that the 0th index have value 0 3 4 1 7 minus 2 5 0. Similarly 3 4 1 7 2 5 0 4, C 1 4 6 8, and similarly so on. And this is an important function. If we import a CSV file and we use df.describe, it gives the statistic of a function. It will show all the statistics of that function, mean, mode, median, and etc. Merging the data frame. So let's see how to merge a data frame. I have created a dictionary left and right, use and created the data frame of both. So we can see that the left value is this and the right value is this. We can merge the data frame using dot merge method. pd dot merge left right, and we can see that we have merged the data frame. Okay, and the important function of this pandas framework is importing CSV file. So there is a difference in importing CSV file in a Jupyter notebook and importing CSV file in a Google Colab notebook. So the basic difference is uh, that we have to use the command from google.colab import files is equals to files.upload. So by typing this command and entering shift plus enter, it will pop up a function choose file, and then you have to choose a file. I have chosen a file 1.csv. The name of my file is 1.csv. Then we have to import IO. Then we have to write a command csv underscore df is equals. This is a variable name, and created I have importing a CSV file naming 1.csv. Okay, pd.read.csv is a command to import CSV file, and io.bytes io upload 1.csv. This command we have to write in Google Colab. This whole command, and we have to import io and this command to import a CSV file in Google Colab notebook. So if you want to see the first 5 elements of the CSV file, we can see that the first 5 elements are here. Just we have to type dot head. Then similarly, if you want to see the last 5 elements, we can use csv underscore df dot head. So I was talking about the difference in importing CSV file in Google Colab and Jupyter Notebook. So in Google Colab, are other options also to import a CSV file. First, we have to go to Google Drive, and then we have to import a CSV file. And this is the other option from google.colab import files. So in Jupyter Notebook, we only have to write data1 is equals to pd.read underscore csv. Then we have to put bracket, then in commas we have to write the path of the CSV file. It just import the CSV file. So then saving a pandas data frame as CSV. So we are creating a data frame and then saving it into a file. Okay, though so the names, I am creating a list of names and degree and scores. So name, degree, scores. Then dictionary of list. I have created a dictionary of these 3 lists: name, degree, scores. And I have created a data frame of dictionary. Okay, then we are creating data frame and importing the data frame to CSV file1.csv. Similarly, we can see the head of this using df.head. Aparna Pankaj. Aparna have a degree MBA and scored 90 marks. Aparna have a degree MBA 90 marks. Similarly, Pankaj BCA 40 marks. Sudhir MTech 80. Geeku MBA 98. Matplotlib. Matplotlib is an important library to see and plot 2D arrays. We can plot various histograms and pie charts, scatter plots. So like Matplotlib, there are other libraries also, but we are doing Matplotlib as it is very common. Many people use Matplotlib. Other libraries, Seaborn. You can also check on Google about Seaborn, but we will discuss about Matplotlib in this this area of our video. So we can import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and I'm importing math function to use here to import math.py. So we are creating an array of angles between 0 and 2 pi using arrange function from NumPy library. We have used an arrange function to create an array. Similarly, we have created x is equals to np.arrange starting point, ending point, and the interval. Okay, then we are creating the sine function. There is also a function np.sine, np.cos in np numpy module. Y is equals to sine, np is equals to np.sine x. Then we are creating x is to y. So we are getting a sine function. We can also label the sides axis and give the title to the graph. So we can label by using plt.xlabel. We have named x label as angle, and you can see that we have x label angle. We have given y label as sine, and we can see sine here, and we have given the title sine wave. So we can see the title of the graph. We have plotted the graph using .plot function x comma y. So we can also plot the points like 1 is to 1, 2 is to 4, 3 is to 9, 4 is to 6 using dot plot method. So now we are creating a histogram. Okay, so I have entered many numbers, and we can easily plot a histogram using plt.hist function. X comma bins equals to 10. Bins divide the entire number of values into a series of intervals and then count how many fall into each interval. The bins are usually specified as consecutive non-overlapping interval of a variable. Plotting a histogram. Okay, we can show the histogram by plt.show. Basically, are the interval which we get in the question. Like when we have a question of plotting a histogram, we have like intervals like 0 to 10, 10 to 20. Similarly, I have entered the same numbers here and have entered the intervals bins is equals to 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and show plot that show. Similarly, creating a pie chart. I have created a list of cars data, and we are giving the size of a pie chart, then giving the label to the pie chart. plt.py data comma labels equals to car. plt.show, we get the pie chart of all the cars and the data. So we also, the most important, or we can say the most frequently used graph in machine learning is the scatter plot. So we can see that x comma y, we've entered the value x and y, and we can create the scatter plot using simply plot plt.scatter x comma y, plt.show, and we can see the graph. Thank you, that's all for today. and you can ask your queries in the chat box or in the comment section.